Tonight, when you look at your smartphone screen in the middle of the night, you are participating in a ritual that is hundreds of thousands of years old. You're scrolling through feeds, checking notifications, and seeing what people are saying about each other. We call it social media, and we often view it as a modern distraction, a digital malfunction of our focus. But what if I told you that this urge to know the private business of others, what we dismissively call gossip, is actually the very thing that made us human? For 99.9% of our history, humans lived without light switches. For over 300,000 years, your ancestors spent half their lives in a darkness so thick they couldn't see their own hands. And it turns out that darkness made us who we are. It was there within the 30 feet of light provided by a flickering fire that the first viral story was told. This is the lost history of the campfire revolution, a time when we stopped being prey and started becoming storytellers. This is the story of how gossip didn't just break reputations, it built civilization. Before the discovery of fire, the human day was governed by a simple, brutal reality. When the sun went down, the world belonged to predators. Our ancestors were prey, and their day talk was dominated by survival, logistics, hunting, and gathering. There was no time for deep social exploration when you were constantly scanning the horizon for a lion. But the discovery of controlled fire, evidenced in places like Wonderwork Cave, changed everything. Fire created a sanctuary where the rules of the world changed. Day talk is about work and food. 80% of firelight talk at night is dedicated to storytelling and social bonding. This was the birth of the first social network. We often think of gossip as something negative, something that ruins family dynamics or social circles. But in an ancient tribe, gossip was a survival mechanism. Imagine living in a world without a legal system or credit scores. You had to know who to trust and who would share their food. Gossip was the original rating system that allowed our ancestors to track the reputations of dozens of individuals simultaneously. If someone was a free rider or a liar, that information went viral around the campfire. This social pressure forced cooperation, allowing us to form large, complex societies. This is why we feel such a deep, visceral sting when our family dynamics are broken or when we realize something is wrong with our social circles. Our brains are wired to see social exclusion as a death sentence. If the tribe started gossiping about you instead of with you, you were in mortal danger. The campfire didn't just change our social lives. It changed our biology by giving us the watch, that mysterious, meditative window of wakefulness in the middle of the night. For millennia, humans didn't sleep in one 8-hour block. They had first sleep, then woke up for an hour or two of quiet reflection or social connection, followed by second sleep. This middle-of-the-night window was when the most important stories were shared, providing a time for prayer, intimacy, and reinforcing the myths that define the tribe's identity. Today, when you wake up at 2 a.m. feeling anxious/restless or overstimulated, you might think your body is broken. The truth is much more interesting. Your body is just remembering the rhythm of the watch. We have traded the Milky Way for a smartphone and the physical 30 feet of light for a digital one. While we are still gossiping, the cost of progress has changed the scale. In the ancient campfire revolution, gossip was anchored by physical presence and shared history. Today, we are exposed to the viral stories of thousands of people we will never meet, bombarding brains that were restructured by fire to handle only the social dynamics of a small tribe. This evolutionary mismatch is why many feel overwhelmed by modern life. Understanding that our urges to share stories, to be interested in others, and even our midnight wakefulness are not malfunctions is key. They're the tools that built humanity. When you find yourself wide awake at 2 a.m., don't fight it as a flaw in a New Year's resolution to get better sleep. Instead, recognize it as the watch. Use that time not for the mindless gossip of the digital world, but for meaningful reflection on your own earliest memories, and connections with those who actually sit within your light. The first viral story wasn't about a trend. It was a story told in the dark to remind everyone in the circle that they weren't alone. Civilization was built by the stories we told when the lights went out.